Let me show you what will happen to you and your baby if you eat 3 to 4 eggs every day during pregnancy. But this isn't just about eating eggs, because I'm going to show you the kinds of egg that you should avoid and the kinds of egg that you should eat during pregnancy. But if you still have any fear about cholesterol in egg, you should trash that out right now, because I'm going to show you evidence-based facts about cholesterol in eggs. And by the end of this video, your most important question, which is, isn't 4 eggs too much for a pregnant woman, will be answered. I'm going to show you evidence-based facts about the number of eggs that you can consume per day. I am Dr. Nedum, a licensed and a practicing medical doctor, and I make videos on reproductive health just for you. So consider subscribing now and turn on your notifications so that you can see my subsequent videos. Now, what happens to you and your baby if you eat eggs during pregnancy actually depends on what are the contents of eggs and how does each of these contents affect you and your baby. Now, egg has a lot of nutrients, but we'll start with the macronutrients. Now, one of the macronutrients in eggs is protein. Now, protein is a building block for everybody, both adults and kids, but most importantly for the growing children. Now, that is also very important for the baby in your womb. So, protein helps in expansion of your own blood volume during pregnancy. It also helps for the growth of your body tissues, because as a pregnant woman, you're going to notice increase in your weight because of increase in fat, increase in body tissues, and others. That increase in your body tissue is partly as a result of protein, because it is a building block for your body tissues to grow. Secondly, protein will help to increase the growth of the fetus and the placenta. The placenta is a very important structure during pregnancy because it produces very important hormone that will help the pregnancy. We're going to see that during this video. Okay, so the protein helps with the growth of the baby and the placenta, and that is very important. Decrease in protein consumption by you, the mother, will result in decrease in the fetal growth. So this simply means that if you have a prolonged restriction of protein intake, there will be a consistent decrease or drop in the growth of your baby. So actually you need protein. It may not be coming from egg, but egg is a very important and a good source of dietary protein that you may not be able to do without during pregnancy. Now, a research has found out that during pregnancy, you will need about 100 proteins for the development of the baby. And these different proteins have different specific roles that each of them play in the fetal development. But this should not bother you, because egg has nearly 1,000 different proteins. So this means that the protein content of egg outweighs the protein needed for your fetal development. This is awesome, and it makes egg a very important diet that you should never skip during pregnancy. Now, the last thing I want to talk about here about protein in egg is that it has this antibacterial protein called lysozyme in the egg white. This lysozyme has a very important function in fighting against infection, and as a matter of fact, it is used by the big pharmaceutical companies as anti-infectious agents as a result of its effect. It is also used as a food preservative. Now, to the second macronutrient contained in egg, and that is lipid. Now, this represents the fat, and this is where the cholesterol comes in. And remember, we have said that we're going to talk about cholesterol in this video, so just keep watching. Now, during pregnancy, the placenta produces progesterone from the maternal cholesterol. Okay, and this progesterone is a very important hormone in pregnancy. Now, some of the produced progesterone will be assimilated into the fetus to help in the production of fetal corticosteroid, which is also very important. Now, this progesterone has different roles that it plays in the pregnancy. So, the progesterone functions, one of them is endometrial decidualization, or decidualization of the endometrium. Now, the endometrium is the inner lining of the womb, and it is very important that it gets decidualized. That means an additional layer is added to it so that implantation will become more strong, okay, or stronger. Now, this will make implanted fetus or embryo to stay and avoid miscarriage. It's very important. The second function of the progesterone is cervical mucus plug formation. Now, during pregnancy, the cervix needs to be covered by the mucus plug, and that helps to prevent infection from moving from the vagina cervix into the uterus. So it helps to prevent infection during pregnancy. The progesterone also helps to modulate the immune system. Now, when you become pregnant, your body sees the baby as a foreign body and would try to reject it. But the effect of the progesterone on your body immune system is to step it down to reduce that rejection so that your body can accommodate the developing baby. That is awesome. All right. The next function of progesterone is inhibition of smooth muscle contraction. All right. So when you are pregnant, the womb is made to become quiet. All right. This is important to avoid contractions in the early stage of that pregnancy. Because if you start having contraction, that is preterm contraction, and it can lead to preterm delivery, and of course, of a premature baby. So, the progesterone helps to inhibit smooth muscle contraction, that is the contraction of the muscles of the womb, to avoid this from happening. The next important function is anti-insulin effect. Now, during pregnancy, your baby needs more glucose, or your body needs more glucose generally, and part of that glucose is taken to your baby. So, this anti-insulin effect of the progesterone, it inhibits the function of the insulin so that more glucose will be made available for the developing baby. What does the insulin do? The insulin is the hormone produced by your pancreas to remove sugar from your blood and store them into your body tissue. So progesterone will reduce that effect, trying to make more sugar available in your blood that will be moved to the baby. That is also very important. Now, progesterone also inhibits lactation. So when you're pregnant, your breast will increase in size during that pregnancy, but it doesn't really mean that you are producing the breast milk at that point. You are having increase in adipose tissue and other tissues in your breast. But the milk production is being stepped down at that point because of progesterone. Now, something very, very important happens when you start getting to term. So when you get to term, there will be a reduction in progesterone. Now, that reduction in progesterone will allow labor to start. Okay, and again, there is also another reduction in progesterone, or the same reduction actually, but that will also lead to what? The lactation, the milk production will start what's happening. So this is the third and the most important macronutrient that you will get in egg, and it is very important for you during pregnancy because you have increased demand for fuel, for energy. Okay, so that is carbohydrate. But I'm sorry to say that egg isn't just the best source of carbohydrate for you. So let's find out why. Number one is that at this point, it's also very important to mention that egg does not contain fiber, not at all. And the carbohydrate content of egg is low. The dominant free sugar in egg is glucose, and this is found more in the egg white. But there is trace amounts of other sugars like the fructose, lactose, maltose, and galactose. These ones can be found in the raw egg whites and also in the raw egg yolk. On average, a 50-gram egg contains only about 75 calories, and that makes egg not quite a good source of carbohydrate for you. Another important group of nutrients that you'll be getting from egg when pregnant is the micronutrients. Now, in this micronutrient, this is where you get your vitamins, minerals, trace elements, including choline. And choline is very important for the brain development. We'll still come to that choline. But for now, let's start with the vitamins. Okay, so a very important note here is that egg does not contain vitamin C. All right, so Egg is devoid of vitamin C, but it has all the other vitamins, including the B vitamins, all of them. Now, let's start with what amount of vitamins can you get from egg when you eat at least 2 eggs per day? You're going to be getting 10% to 30% of your daily requirement of vitamins, except the vitamin C, of course. Okay, so that is very important, and that makes egg a good source of vitamins for you. Actually, egg is loaded with vitamins. Now, caution here is with vitamin A. Now, egg has vitamin A, but the quantity of vitamin A in egg is not that much that can make you at risk of any fetal malformation. So you can eat egg and have no fear about vitamin A excess. Now, if you want to take vitamin A from supplements, that should be done when you are not pregnant, because vitamin A could be excess, especially when you are taking it from supplements or even from diets, and that is from organ meats like liver, the heart, and the kidney. So, why is that not good for you during pregnancy? Excessive vitamin A during pregnancy can affect the development of the brain and the spinal cord of the baby, and that will increase the chances of that baby having what we call neural tube defects. Okay, so what amount of vitamin A should you avoid? During pregnancy, it has been recommended that you avoid taking up to 700 micrograms of vitamin A per day. But if you are eating egg, of course, an average size egg will contain around 75 to 90 micrograms of vitamin A. And if you put that into 7 eggs, it is not even up to 700 micrograms, because each egg is not containing up to 100 micrograms of vitamin A. So it is safe to consume egg. Vitamin D is very important because it helps to prevent or reduce the occurrence of preeclampsia, low birth weight, and preterm delivery of a premature baby, of course. Now, vitamin D also helps with the development of the baby's bone. Very important vitamin during pregnancy. Vitamin D also could be getting from supplement, but that should be from your doctor's prescription. All right. Now, vitamin E helps to prevent preeclampsia. It helps to prevent intrauterine growth restriction, and vitamin E also helps to prevent premature rupture of membrane. But also, do not take vitamin E supplement except given to you by your doctor for some reasons, because vitamin E can as well cause what we call abruptio placenta. So some of these vitamins are not routinely prescribed. So get your routine prescriptions from your doctor. Now, vitamin K, also very important vitamin. It helps to increase the blood clotting factors in your baby. And this helps to prevent vitamin K dependent bleeding in newborn. And vitamin K also helps with the bone development for your baby. Now, let's talk about the vitamin B complex, or the whole of the vitamin B. All right. Now, we'll start with the vitamin B1, which is thiamine. Thiamine helps with the brain development for your baby. Now, vitamin B2 helps with your eye health. Vitamin B3, which is niacin, it helps to reduce or prevent congenital abnormalities in your baby. Vitamin B5, which is pantothenic acid, helps to make and break down fat in the food that you eat. And that is very important, of course. Then vitamin B6, which is pyridoxine, it helps to reduce nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. It also helps with the brain development and the brain function for your baby. Now, vitamin B6 also helps in the production of white blood cells and the T cells. This will make your baby's immune to become very strong and be able to fight infections. Another very important vitamin is vitamin B7, called biotin. Deficiency of this vitamin leads to preterm labor and fetal growth restriction. Another very important vitamin is vitamin B8. This is called inositol. And it is important to note here that vitamin B8 is not a true vitamin because it is a sugar-like compound. So, inositol, it is very good in pregnancy because it helps to reduce blood pressure in pregnancy. It also helps to reduce the risk of gestational diabetes mellitus. and it helps to reduce the risk of preeclampsia. That is very important, of course. Then vitamin B9, this is like the most important vitamin that you would ever need during pregnancy. I will call it folic acid, the synthetic form. But the dietary component is folate. Okay, that is vitamin B9. If you are getting enough vitamin B9 or folic acid supplements, it will help you to reduce the risk of birth defects in your baby. One of them is spina bifida and the others. Okay, and vitamin B9 also help to increase blood formation. So that will help you to prevent being anemic. Now, let us talk about the choline. Choline is also very important, and this you cannot even do without it because it helps the baby's brain development. But let's start with this. Egg is the second major source of choline after beef liver. Okay, but remember we have said that you should avoid liver during pregnancy. Now, a decreased intake of choline can lead to increased risk of neural tube defects and changes in the brain structure and function. So you need choline actually. Now, choline will help in placental development and remodeling. This is very important, okay? And increase in brain development and memory. All right, choline is very important, especially with the brain development and memory. Now, the minerals and trace elements, there are a lot of minerals in egg: phosphorus, calcium, and potassium, with a trace amount of sodium. Now, these minerals are also called electrolytes, and they have a very important function in helping to regulate fluid and blood pressure. Okay, then egg also contains all the essential trace elements like the copper, the iron, the magnesium, the manganese, zinc, and selenium. And deficiency of some of these trace elements like the selenium and the zinc will actually increase your chances of having depression and fatigue. Egg has a variety of antimicrobial compounds, and these cover a lot of microorganisms. So it has antibacterial activities, it also has antiviral activities, it has antifungal and antiparasitic activities, and that is very awesome that egg can help you provide all these molecules that will help you to fight or prevent infection during pregnancy. Now, another very important component is the antioxidants. We have mentioned this when we talked about the vitamins, the minerals, and the trace elements. These are antioxidants, and they help you to reduce the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines, and this will help you to have a smooth pregnancy journey in all ramifications. So, egg is also very important in this aspect. Now, this one anti-cancerous effect, this is where there is a glitch, and some of you will come after me if I don't mention this right now, that there is still need for more research on this very particular aspect. But some studies have already been done using experimental tumors, and it was found out that lysozyme has anti-tumor effects. Lysozyme you can get from egg, it has anti-cancerous effects. Ovomycin beta subunits and ovomycin derived peptides also have anti-tumor effects from experiments. And tripeptides and hydrolytic peptides, all these are anti-cancerous molecules that you can get from egg, and this will help to prevent the risk of development of what? Cancer. But this area still needs more research. Now, if you're getting value from this video, please hit the like button and drop your question in the comment section, or any of your concern, you can drop that in the comment section. And please share this video with your friends. Another very important function of egg in pregnancy is that egg has some antihypertensive activities. That is awesome. We have mentioned one of them, okay, and that is inositol, the vitamin B8. Now, egg also has peptides that will decrease or inhibit the effect of the enzyme called angiotensin converting enzyme. Now, this enzyme is responsible for the conversion and activation of angiotensin 1 into angiotensin 2, which is a vasoconstrictor. So, angiotensin 2 will cause peripheral vasoconstriction that will increase or cause hypertension. All right. So the peptides from egg can reduce the effect of this enzyme and therefore reduce the production of angiotensin 2, and there will be no hypertension. So egg is very important and it's very awesome as an antihypertensive. Okay. Now, other functions or other benefits that you can get from egg is that egg also has lutein and zeaxanthin. Now, these compounds are very important in reducing the inflammation that can lead to macular degeneration. Okay, now that macular degeneration is one of the leading causes of blindness in the older adults. Now, these compounds, lutein and zeaxanthin, can also favor the baby's brain development and function, and even that of the eye development. Okay, so that is very important for you as a pregnant woman. Now, egg also has omega-3 fatty acid. Now, omega-3 fatty acid is one of the essential fatty acids that you must get from diet. Okay, and egg is a good example of a dietary source of this omega-3 fatty acid. It is also anti-inflammatory. Now, the most common biologically available omega-3 fatty acid in abundance is DHA and EPA. Now, omega-3 fatty acid will help with the baby's brain development and the retina. Now, omega-3 fatty acids will also decrease perinatal depression and preterm birth. Now, water constitutes a greater percentage of egg whites. We'll talk about this later on. Now, let's talk about what kind of egg should you eat during pregnancy. Now, we're going to talk about this in two different headings. Number one is the rearing pattern of the hen laying the eggs, and the second one is the preparation of the egg itself. So in the rearing pattern, we have two systems. We have the free range system and we have the conventional system. Now, in the free range system, this is where the hens are being allowed to go out to feed in the environment, and they can still come back and eat in the farm, eating on the conventional feeds in the poultry farm. While in the conventional system, the hens are being allowed to eat only the conventional feeds in the poultry farm. So don't go outside. So let's say the differences between the two of them and decide which one will be the best for you to consume. Now, the free range system have access to feed on grass, insects, and worms in the environment. And they can as well come back in the poultry farm and eat the conventional feeds. So they have more exposure to these things in the environment, unlike the conventional system. Now, how will that affect the egg? It will increase the tocopherol and the alpha tocopherol and the lutein content of that egg. The second point is that there is a decrease in the egg white height and yolk color in the conventional system. Okay, so eggs from a conventional system raised hen has a decrease in the egg white height and the yolk color. That means there's a decrease in the nutrient content of the yolk. And you remember that the yolk is where you have more of the important nutrients from the egg, even though we still have some important nutrients in the egg white. All right. So, but in this free range system, the egg white height and the yolk color is normal because of the exposure of the hens in the free range system to environmental microbes from what they are eating. Their body system will be triggered to produce immunoglobulins. Immunoglobulins are proteins that can fight against infection. This will be produced more in the yolk. Generally, there is increase in the antimicrobial activities from egg raised in free range system. Which of these are you going to prefer? Eggs from the free range system or eggs from the conventional system? Let me know in the comment section. Personally, I would choose eggs from the free range system. But let me know your choice in the comment section. Now, in terms of preparation, how is the egg prepared? You can either boil the egg or fry the egg, or you can have other recipes of your choice. But make sure that you avoid eating undercooked egg, either underfried or underboiled or in whatever preparation you have chosen. And make sure you avoid eating raw eggs. Let's talk about the cholesterol in eggs because I made you a promise, okay? Now, cholesterol in eggs is not actually bad the way it is being painted by the public, because the dietary cholesterol, that is the cholesterol that you get from eating egg, does not directly spike your content of cholesterol in your blood. Okay, so when you eat egg and you get cholesterol from it, it doesn't directly spike the cholesterol in your blood. Okay, so it is not dangerous, there's no risk attached in that aspect. Now, there is a higher content of HDL, high density lipoprotein, which is the good cholesterol in eggs, unlike the LDL, which is the bad cholesterol. So in egg, there is a higher content of the good cholesterol than the bad cholesterol, and that makes egg awesome. Now, the important point here to note again is that eating egg is not directly associated with cardiovascular disease incidence in healthy patients. Now, this means that if you are healthy, you can eat as many eggs as you want, all right? But if you have any cardiovascular disease issue, you should consult your doctor before eating eggs in excessive numbers, okay? And that brings us to the next question, which is how many eggs should a pregnant woman eat per day? Now, if you are a healthy adult or a non-pregnant individual, you can eat as many eggs as you want. You can even eat up to 5 eggs or more per day. All right. But if you are pregnant, personally, I would recommend that you eat at least just 2 eggs per day till the time of your delivery. You can even continue even after delivery, and that is up to 10 months. Okay, so even considering the cost of the purchase, because egg isn't quite cheap, okay, so you can eat 2 eggs every day. Once you notice you are pregnant till the time of your delivery or beyond, that will be okay. But if you want to eat more than 2 eggs per day, please, I would recommend that you consult your doctor for personalized recommendations so that you know the exact amount of egg that you can eat based on your own health condition. Now, I mentioned that water forms a greater percentage of the egg white, but that is not enough for you, because you would need to drink water to make sure you don't get dehydrated. And dehydration is one of the major causes of oligohydramnios. Oligohydramnios is a condition where there is abnormally reduced amniotic fluid during pregnancy. Now, if you want to see the 9 most dangerous causes of oligohydramnios, then you click here to watch this video right now.